This is genuinely insane, as over the past couple days, there's been a ton of discourse regarding Darko Rajakovic and some fans, a portion of the fan base, turning on him as the head coach of the Toronto Raptors, calling for Masai Ujiri to essentially fire him. And yes, we've had an ugly losing streak, but if you look at the roster that we're fielding, you're going to blame Darko Rajakovic, and his goal isn't even to win, it's to develop young players. It is just shocking what's being said, what's being thrown out there right now over the discourse, Reddit, Twitter, our comment section even. So we're going to discuss what's really going on with the Toronto Raptors right now, what people are saying about Darko Rajakovic, what criticism is very valid, but which of it is just insane nonsense. So lots of stuff to dive into in this video, but before we do, we have a very exciting announcement, as this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud partners of Team Canada. While they've been supporting our national team defend their home court in international competitions, they've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home court all across the country. Whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's, from coast to coast, Rentals.ca helps you find the perfect place and price for you. The website is clean and it's extremely easy to use. You can pinpoint exactly on the map where you're interested in moving. Rentals.ca will help you find all of the best places and prices for you, all amalgamated in one area. So definitely check out the pinned comment as well as the description down below. You'll be able to find the Rentals.ca link, and you'll find whatever it is, apartments, houses, condos, and find the perfect spot for you. So shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting our national team, for supporting this channel for an extremely long period of time, even during these desperate times in Toronto Raptors basketball, but most importantly, supporting every single one of you guys all across the country. Genuinely, they're an awesome company. They have a massive sort of assortment of listings, so definitely check them out whether you're looking for a house, apartment, condo. But let's dive into the madness, because I'm pretty fired up here right now. The Raptors, of course, I'm not going to rose tint this whole season. The Raptors have been objectively bad. We're the third worst team in the NBA. We're on pace to catch the Wizards, the absolutely depleted New Orleans Pelicans. We're on a 9-game losing streak. It has been ugly. I'm not here to say, hey, Darko Rajakovic has proved he could be a winning coach, getting a ton of wins. We've been losing to good teams, to bad teams now lately. We've been taking a ton of L's, and you can see the score against the Memphis Grizzlies. We gave up 155 points. There is no doubts about it that this team is objectively bad here right now. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, there isn't any unwarranted criticism of Darko Rajakovic, though, I'm all completely fine with that. But over the past couple days, I've been noticing in our comment section, I know I'm making this video, there's going to be a lot of people fired up saying, hey, let's fire Darko Rajakovic. He doesn't know what he's doing. And of course, he did have that sort of that meltdown the other day, where he was pretty fired up at the referees. He was getting amped up, and that triggered some people into sort of saying, hey, Darko, he's out of control. He's not managing this team well. The team is losing. All of those types of things. But frankly, it's got me a bit fired up right now, because the goal for Darko Rajakovic this season, it has been made public by Darko, by Masai Ujiri, by the organization, heck, by the players. Jakob Poeltl said at the start of the season that we're probably not going to win a ton of games this year. That's the direction, that's the approach, that's what this team is doing. They are objectively trying to capture a flag at the end of the season. They are trying to get a top-tier draft pick, and the big priority over the course of this season has been development. And frankly, Darko Rajakovic has exceeded all expectations. He is passed with a gold star every single game. There are players getting better. We are having career years from essentially the entire roster. Now, does the roster make a ton of sense? No. And, are we going to blame Darko Rajakovic here right now for a game where the Raptors ended up giving up 155 points? No. Heck, he was out for most of the game. But again, it's the defensive schemes and stuff. But we were running a lineup without Jakob Poeltl there. It was Kelly Olynyk in the starting lineup, Gradey Dick, and RJ Barrett. And RJ Barrett has improved. Gradey Dick's hustling, and Kelly tries. But, that's three significant defensive liabilities that you have out there in your starting unit. And, again, they can improve. There's work to be done. These guys need to be improved. But you can't just blame the head coach when the organization is objectively trying to lose, and then the priority is to develop on players. We have to judge Darko Rajakovic this season in terms of how the vibes are, because the vibes are absolutely abolished. Before Darko came in, Masai Ujiri said it, they were fired Nick Nurse because of it, who was one of the best coaches in the NBA. Darko Rajakovic is here to up team morale, and I think by all accounts, that has been done. The second thing is to develop the young pieces. Now, let's take a look at what's going on with the young pieces, the young guys that we have out here on this team. Well, you take a look at a guy like Ochai Agbaji, who the Raptors traded for last season, and he has taken a massive step up from where he was last year in terms of his three-point shooting percentages, in terms of his points per game, in terms of the level of defense he's playing. Ochai Agbaji has emerged into one of the better 3-and-D players in the entire NBA at 24 years old, and a season where a lot of people had already given up on him, given his age, given his lack of development there with the Utah Jazz. So that is something to take into account, Ochai Agbaji's development. Then you also have a guy that, hey, is he a young piece? Is he not? Well, Jakob Poeltl is having a career year right now under Darko Rajakovic. They are unlocking his game to a whole nother level, the confidence, and they talked about at the start of the season how Darko Rajakovic has changed his approach to how they're using Jakob Poeltl, and he is having by far the best season of his NBA career on both ends of the floor. So Jakob Poeltl, he has been phenomenal in this season. And then you have a guy, in his second year, Gradey Dick, who has just taken a massive step forward, massively. You wouldn't expect this level of jump from even the highest mocks and the highest projections for him coming out of the NBA draft as a lottery pick, a couple seasons ago. This level of improvement, this rate in terms of how well he's performed, you have to give credit to the coach in terms of the development that's happening. And it's not just these guys, it's not just these players, because again, the entire roster, RJ Barrett, 24 points per game. Scottie Barnes has dealt with a ton of injuries, a ton of sort of messy situations, and yes, his three-point shooting is going down, but you can't coach, whether or not three-point shots are going in or not. But the guy is averaging 28 and 7. He's putting him in spots to run the offense, to get into different positions, and frankly, when we've had consistent stretches of games for Scottie Barnes, he's not dealing with injuries and stuff, those numbers just end up going up. Right, Gradey Dick, we've already talked about. Immanuel Quickley, we haven't seen him play enough games. But Chris Boucher is back to having a really, really strong year. And then all the rooks, all of those rookies that everyone said was a horrific draft class, so this year was going to be garbage. And why the heck do we have 4 picks in a draft that is bad? A rookie class that is horrible. The Raptors pick like 4 top 10 picks. Like, not top 10 overall selections, but for the top 10 best players in the rookie class. I mean, Ja'Kobe Walter has really just emerged onto the scene, despite not even being in training camp, despite having so many injury issues, coming back and then getting hurt again. Darko Rajakovic has put him in a position to really, really thrive for this Raptors team. I mean, you have Jamison Battle, who's been able to knock down shots. This guy wasn't even supposed to be making the training camp roster. He was barely a 905 candidate, and when he was brought into the Summer League, and now he's just able to knock down threes, do what he does. Jonathan Mobo's proven to be an actual rotation player in his first season when he was projected to be a massive project. And then Jamal Shead, Jamal Shead, the Shedheads out here, right? Just the level of defense, the confidence, especially as of late, in terms of what he's been able to do out there on this team. Darko Rajakovic has come out, and he has unlocked a lot of these young guys that really didn't have a lot of hopes for this initial upcoming season. That's just the reality of what was going on. And Darko has really took these guys' playing levels to the next level. And yes, the Raptors are losing. It is the reality. It's easier to develop guys in a losing season, but that's the goal. That's the mission. The mission is to develop. It's not to win a ton of games this year. And in fact, despite the record, this team is way more competitive than their record shows. Yes, we have a couple of ugly losses, especially when Jakob Poeltl's out of the lineup, but that's roster construction. We don't have a defensive anchor when Jakob Poeltl's not playing. We're not going to win games. Why are people calling to fire Darko Rajakovic when we don't have a defensive anchor? We're going to give up 155 points. It's not like we have Kawhi and OG and different guys out there on the wing defense where you can run a weird scheme and stuff. We're running guys that are developing on the defensive end. You can't say, hey, Gradey Dick, be the defensive anchor for the squad. Darko, you can't make that happen. Like, what's wrong with you? Get the boot. We are trying to lose games. The focus of this season is how good are the young guys developing. So, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of comments about this. Fire me up. And, so the development's been there. The young guys, in terms of how they're blossoming, how they're building into their season, the vibes have been better. And I like Darko Rajakovic standing up for our players, man. So the criticism that's getting thrown the way because it's like a meme, sort of fired up. Hey, he's gonna fight a coach. The whole young players have to fire back. It's immature. It's all this type of stuff. I don't mind this. He's trying to get his team fired up. He's trying to get his team like really ready to go. And then like it's just silly. And then Darko came out and basically gave a quote to for the boys. He says, "I'll always stand up for my guys, and at that moment as well, I felt my team needed a wake up. I wanted to send a message that we needed to fight all the way to the last minute. I want to create a reaction from my team as well." And like, if you're hating on a man for doing something like that, I get it. The defensive scheme, sometimes he makes weird decisions there at the end of games. Sure, when the Raptors are winning, I'm going to be a lot more critical of things like that. But trying things out, getting the most out of young players, you're not going to have me just come out and absolutely bash a Darko Rajakovic to do this type of stuff. So I wanted to address this before the Raptors play tonight. And yes, we're probably going to keep losing games, and that's just how it's going to go. But win and losses don't matter this season. We said it from the jump. It's young player development, and that's what the Raptors have been doing. So I don't know. I'm supporting Darko. I'm not calling for him to be fired. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys best think it's far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.